Right, here we are at the Prado Hospital doing a 180k service on a 150 Prado. Now we've done a number of these videos and similar, but you might see some very different, slightly different information. This has got the Dobinsons twin tubes in it. It's recently been on a big trip up around the north part of Australia through Queensland, through New South Wales, Queensland, Northern Territory and WA. You can see it's been down some tracks. You can see the evidence of the mud and that. This isn't a weekend bush basher. This is a touring vehicle. So we're going to go through the sorts of things we're going to check out, like for playing the wheel bearings. It's only done 180, so they haven't been replaced yet. So it is important we do check them in case there's a premature issue. While it was away, it did get a 160k service somewhere. I'm just wondering if they did it. Looking at that plug, I think they probably did do the diff oil. Yeah, where's the bottom plug? Can we see it? What am I thinking? Well, it's hidden down there. We're not going to be able to see that, are we? Especially with the camera. Yeah, kind of, maybe almost. Look at that right through there. Yeah, maybe they did. Anyway, the oil's draining. So remember, one of the key things we haven't shown you for a while, and that is checking that oil pickup. And we've put photos of it, right? So you're looking up there. Just see. I'm just trying to get in the right position to check that oil pickup there is not blocked, right? That's what you're looking at. If I can show you with a photo and a camera and whatever, you don't need any special cameras, you just need your eye. Shine a light in there. The best way it's done is drain your oil, leave it for an hour or two. Drop it out Friday night, come out Saturday morning. You can move your drain tray out of the way completely and get under there and have a good look. You don't need to do that if you've done your injectors and had them done professionally, following our procedures, using our parts and everything's right. You don't need to check it, but just check it anyway. Or if you forget, it doesn't matter. Now, moving down the vehicle. It has been quite dirty. It's good to see it gets used. It's had a bit of a clean up, but you can see it could probably do with a bit more water because that would dissolve and fall off. Original pan gasket, awesome. Nice lubricated joints. It's been lubricated before and we've just given it a little bit, so that's awesome. Nicely lubed up. You can see it's had quite a bit at other times. We've serviced this vehicle a few times, but not its whole life. We've done the BFE on it. Right, more lube there. Giving it a good mush out because it's been on a big trip, okay? So it may have been serviced. We just changed a fuel filter. No, we didn't do that little, if you look in the little orange clips, there's someone's been trying to lever them out. That's not what we do. So new fuel filter's done. Checking out the suspension, check for leaks, check the brake pads. Now, brake pads, where are we at? Rear brake pads are like new, okay? It might be hard for you to see, but again, we've explained that in other videos. I suppose if you're less experienced, it's probably wise for you to take your wheels off to check your brakes. Could be a good option, right? Once you know what you're doing and you know what you're looking at, you can sort of go, rightio, okay, there's the rotor. You can see the backing plate and you can see the meat. They're not far off new. I reckon he got told he needed brakes while he was away on his trip. Probably didn't, but anyway, you get that. You got to be careful where you go. We've been through that with the client this morning about the best options for preparation and servicing when you're on a trip. And we've mentioned it in other videos, so I'm not going to go on about it too much. I'm looking around for problems on this vehicle. It's hard to see through the mud in a lot of places, right? You can see that bush that's had a bit of stretch there, but that's okay. Bit of stress and a bit of twist, that's okay. Just looking around. I can't use my other hand and check for playing the bearings, but we need to check for any playing in any of the bearings or steering components. Just doing a visual, right? The normal things we look at. And like normal, there's not much to see. Let's have a look at this fuel tank, okay. You can see it's been a little bit hit there, so he's been down some tracks. Probably worth removing that at some stage and re-bending it out, but, you know, because it is a plastic tank. It doesn't matter too much, but see, you know, if you've got rocks in between there as well before it got bent, is there a rock gouging into that plastic tank? I like these standard transfer case protection brackets. That's all you need. That's what I like. If you want something heavy duty, you go for that cone one that goes from the chassis across here all the way across, protecting the actuator as well. More for people that take less care about wheel placement and driving. If you want to know more about driving and how to do it right and using your low range and your four-wheel drive, you need to subscribe to our 4x4 Touring Australia channel. Okay, FOURBY 4x4 Touring, just like 4x4 Diesel, space Australia, 4x4 Touring Australia. I can't really see too much wrong with this vehicle. He's talking about a bit of a squeak or a rattle like a tin can, something in the suspension when he's got the windows down. I'm not too sure what he's describing because these cars generally don't make noises. I'm not seeing much on the suspension components. There's no leaks you can see. So the Dobinsons twin tubes, tested and proven once again, hammered across these outback tracks. No leaks. Okay, I've given it a bounce already. They seem to be working well. No leaks here. Let's go and have another check of the rear ones. Right, you can see being hit and hammered by the rocks as usual. That's what you get. That's why we like the twin tubes at the back, right? Because that's steel, guys, and it is a twin tube. There's an inner and an outer. That's why we like them, because they get beaten by rocks. Let's check out this side, right? Right, there it is. You can see tested and proven. No leaks. Right, now what's this squeak they're talking about? What squeaks in these? Squeaks at a real rattle. He's describing it more like a rattle than a squeak. We're going to have to do a bit of a road test. But look, also he had the problem with the fuel transfer problem while he was away on the trip. Now, I'll give you a little tip if you hung around. My battery's getting low, so this video might cut out. If it does, I'll just come back to you with a bit more, I think. But when you've been on a trip, see all this mud and stuff like that up on these lines? It's very rare to get that up there, but when you do, that's more likely, that's what's caused his fuel problem. Now, he went into a Toyota dealer, and you know what? He went into Le Mans Toyota. You just got to be careful where you go, guys, because they sold him a pump. They went in 3 times to try and fix this problem. They sold him a pump. It didn't fix it. We could have told you that pumps don't fail in these. I don't know why they have it on the list of replacement at 150. They went in and replaced something else. Anyway, 3rd time lucky. They ripped the whole tank, everything out. They probably just got lucky, because I'll tell you what the problem probably was, right? It was probably to do with all that mud there. And we mentioned recently in a video about the breather, and we don't talk about it too much, but I think they just got lucky, because you can see all the mud and that over that breather there still. See that? And this is why you need a lot of water up underneath the vehicle to clean things and to get all this. See what I mean? This is not, look at it, you know, the exhaust is caked in mud. This is not cleaned up properly, nowhere near it, okay? If I spent 10 minutes on this, I'm gonna get 90% more of the mud out from under the vehicle, okay? The other thing that's happening, the aftermarket diff breather, which was also unnecessary, you can see it's rubbing on that fuel filler pipe there. The filler pipe will probably be okay, but eventually this hose, it's probably looking okay too, but it could rub through, and then you've got a hole in it, and it's not a sealed system anymore, like when it had the, you know, originally on here on top of the diff, they have like a hat that keeps the moisture out. It does work, believe it or not. You can believe it. This is Anthony's, believe it or not. But anyway, the mud up there, it causes problems, guys. So as I mentioned in a previous video, maybe, you know, you just need to stick the water up and get wash in behind here. Wash out your handbrake and your brakes. Wash around all your springs, your suspension, your rubbers. Wash, stick it up here in between your tanks and wash all these hoses and lines. Get all this mud off. The water is going to keep and wash all that stuff out, right? Now, when I say breather, so what? You're not sure what I'm talking about? Okay, let's get up there, right? Bang, right? That thing right there, right? Something we haven't really talked too much about, because it's not a big problem, but it has been a problem, so it's time to start telling you, get the water up there, wash it out. It might prevent your problem. It might solve your problem. And if it doesn't, you might want to just pop it out of the clip, right? So you need to get up a bit more closely to it. Where are you going? I can't even see you from around that side. I was around here. There you are. They're hiding me on the chassis. So we need to go up, in, around behind there, right? Pop it out of the clip there and take it off the line and give it a good clean up if you need to. But also there's issues in the fuel tanks with the transfer system sometimes. Very rare problems, guys. That's why we don't talk about it much. But if you have got an issue, please search our channel, because you may just find that information you need. I reckon we're about done here. I haven't found anything on this vehicle. Is any play in these front wheel bearings? Any play in the inner rack ends of the steering components? Nothing. No, nothing to see here. Got an assistant here helping out, and you know what? Bada bing, we haven't. Can't say, you know, I haven't seen anything on this. I can see the zip tie rubbing on the tail shaft, right? There we are, zip tie rubbing on the tail shaft. No big deal. Hey, look, you know, is it wearing down? Yeah, it'll wear down. That's pretty cool, actually. That's from that rear diff breather that someone's done an awesome installation on, right? Bring something reliable through a line all the way up. That line rubbing here, there, and everywhere, it's just a matter of time before it rubs through somewhere, and it's just made the vehicle more unreliable. I reckon we've got it here again. We've got it here, and it goes up to the front, and I'm tipping the one that matters, the transmission breather, it's probably still stock standard and sitting up there behind the transmission somewhere. Again, not going to be able to get the camera there, but just as amazes me what people do and what they don't do. You know, I mean, workshops, modifications, aftermarket accessories, do things that don't need to be done. All the CV boots look good. Right, all the joints, everything looks good. There's nothing to see, guys, you know, these are good cars. The biggest thing this needs is a clean-up. The turbo's dry, which is a bonus. It's had some grass in there, we can carefully pull that out. Front brakes, they look like they've got plenty of meat as well, so when he went in for the service, I reckon they kind of like, you know, if you go in, they're going to sell you some brake pads or something, you know. Alright guys, not much else to see here. Hopefully you got something out of it anyway, maybe to do with that fuel transfer system. A few things what to look out for, another underbody vehicle, so you know what to look out for when you're crawling underneath that vehicle. Please, if you got something out of it, give us the thumbs up so we know we're doing the right thing. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and remember to turn the bell on so you get notified the next bada bing video. Bada boom. See ya.